Hey guys, JamieStarr here. I wanted to cover this very important news article that no one's talking about by Michael Snyder at the Economic Collapse. Turkey has declared war in Syria. Does this mean World War III is about to erupt in the Middle East? And, I'm quite concerned that we're going to see some big shit hit the fan moment that's going to make them try to say, oh, well, things are too unstable to have Trump get into office. So, here we have it from the Turkish military launched its operation in Syria to end the rule of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. President Erdogan said November 29th, in my estimation, nearly 1 million people have died in Syria. These deaths are still continuing without exception for children, women, and men. Where is the United Nations? What is it doing? Is it in Iraq? No, we preached patience but could not endure in the end and had to enter Syria together with the Free Syrian Army, Erdogan said in the first Interparliamentary Jerusalem Platform Symposium in Istanbul. So, here you have a NATO country, and because they're in agreements that if one leaps, the other's going to jump too, it's really awful. So Turkey might be dragging us into World War III. And as we know, Albert Pike said World War III would involve Islam. And Turkey hasn't even been stable itself recently. They've been having these coup attempts and everything like that. So I don't know what they're thinking. And I really hope that somehow this does not happen and we just kind of leave Turkey out on their own, because something tells me they don't have a big military of their own, and they're probably dependent on the other NATO and UN things. As he said, where's the UN in this? Why isn't the UN doing it? Why have we been arming these people? I mean, that's the reality of it. We've been arming ISIS. This is no different than Libya. They're arming ISIS to take out the leader of Syria. It's Turkish military forces initially invaded northern Syria on August 24th, and at the time were told that the purpose of invasion was to fight ISIS, but now Erdogan is telling us something completely different. Breitbart is one of the few U.S. news outlets that is reporting on the story, and I want you to read the following quotes from Erdogan that come from a Breitbart article that was posted Tuesday very, very carefully. Why did we enter? We do not have an eye on Syrian soil. The issue is to provide lands to their real owners. That is to say, we are there for the establishment of justice. We enter there to end the rule of a tyrant al-Assad who terrorizes with state terror. Erdogan continued insisting his forces were not in Syria for any other reason. The Daily Shaba notes that Erdogan spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin about Syria during 2 telephone calls last week. Since Russia launched a massive military operation to secure Bashar al-Assad in power, Putin would presumably have been interested in anything Erdogan had to say about toppling the regime in Damascus and would probably have not kept quiet about it. If the Turkish military is only in Syria to end Assad's regime, then presumably they will stay there until the job is done. And this puts Turkey into direct military conflict with Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, since all three of them are already fighting very hard to help Assad regime. Of course, there's another reason why Turkey is in northern Syria, and that is to fight the Kurds. In fact, the Kurds in Turkey are both rushing to capture a little city north of Aleppo called Al-Bab, which is currently controlled by the Islamic State. Their immediate challenge is securing Al-Bab in the Islamic State-held city of northeast of Aleppo, which Kurdish-led fighters are racing to take, and which lies close to the fronts of Assad's allies. Turkish-backed forces have made rapid gains since August, but largely through less heavily populated areas. Urban warfare around Al-Bab is already taking a heavy toll. 5 Turkish soldiers have been killed in the past week alone, 3 of them in a suspected Syrian government airstrike. Right now, the question is whether Russia will allow Turkey to seize Al-Bab, said the Munster Bila Brigade official. But most people in the Western world don't know that Turkish soldiers are already dying in Syria. Hence, the United States, tens of millions of Americans are hailing a new era of peace and prosperity now that Donald Trump has won the election, but the truth is that one false move in Syria could easily raise tensions between the United States and Russia to the highest level it's been since the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 1960s. If Aragon would just have stayed out of Syria, we wouldn't be in such a precarious situation. Unfortunately, the president of Turkey is a narcissistic lunatic, and he dreams of a day when the Ottoman Empire will once again be restored. But his delusions of greatness threaten to make the Middle East even more unstable than it already has been. In addition to his remarks above, on Tuesday, Erdogan called on Muslims globally to embrace the Palestinian cause and protect Jerusalem. Turkish president has urged Muslims to defend the Palestinian cause, striking a tough stance on Israel despite improved ties between the two nations. The president of majority Muslim Turkey said Tuesday that it is the common duty of all Muslims to embrace the Palestinian cause and protect Jerusalem, and that safeguarding the Al-Aqsa Mosque should not be left to children armed with nothing but stones. Located in the old city of Jerusalem, the hilltop compound is sacred to Muslims and Jews. So, you guys can finish off the rest of this article for your own. Again, it's at the economiccollapseblog.com. You also have InfoWars covering the article and being very concerned that this could lead us right into World War III, right as President-elect Trump has, not wanted this to happen. If this major world war starts, will Obama enact executive powers to stay in office? We'll have to see, but it's something to keep your eye on and something the media is not talking about.